Before we leave meter and move on to phrases, let's look at something that bridges the two, anacrusis. This is both a poetic and a musical term, and in music it indicates that the start of a piece or section begins with an under-full bar, most characteristically just the last beat. This is often called a pickup note. Some very well-known melodies are structured in this way, for instance, Happy Birthday to You, or the main theme of the final movement of Brahms's Fourth Symphony. So when we have music with anacrusis, we tend to start each of the phrases in the music with the pickup note, as in the examples just noted. But what are phrases? A phrase is a part of a melody, a group of several bars, most often 4. It forms a melodic unit that feels more or less complete, depending upon its harmonic context at the end. In fact, phrases are generally articulated by harmony in Western music, and in particular by what we call cadences. We'll cover these in week 5. Not coincidentally, a phrase is often the approximate length of a singer's or a wind player's breath, so there might be rests at the end of a phrase in which they can take a breath. Phrases may be indicated in notation by a curved line above the stave, much as a wind player's slur line indicates a passage to be performed in one breath also. Phrase marks and slur lines are not equivalent, but they are related and look pretty much the same. So what we can see now is a clear hierarchy of musical structure, from rhythms grouped into beats, beats into bars, bars now into phrases, and as we'll see next, phrases into periods, or phrase groups if they're not grouped into pairs, periods into sections, sections into movements or songs, and movements into symphonies, concertos, etc., or songs into albums. There are, however, a couple of other things to add in here, the first of which is the motif or motive. Many melodies and phrases make use of concise musical signposts or motives. These are usually short musical statements that are easily recognizable by their strong rhythmic or intervallic character. Motives are often repeated considerably and developed and varied both rhythmically and melodically during the course of a piece. Probably the most famous musical motive in Western classical music is found at the very opening of Beethoven's Fifth Symphony. This is fairly typical of motives in that it is an isolated short statement, shorter in fact than what we would normally consider to be a phrase, but it could by itself or in combination with extensions of itself form a complete phrase of music. Somewhere between phrases and sections we have melodies, but the confines of these are open-ended. They may or may not constitute a complete section of a piece, depending upon stylistic context. It all depends on how long the melody is. Wagner's were famously never-ending, for instance. But in any case, melodies generally consist of several phrases. Take, for instance, the Old English tune Greensleeves. This displays an anacrusis or pickup note, which we've already discussed. The pickup here is on the last eighth note or last quaver of a 6/8 bar. So we've got a 6/8 melody, which we may remember is a compound duple form with 2 dotted crotchet beats per bar. The Greensleeves melody consists of 4 4-bar phrases. These are grouped into 2 periods, each consisting of 2 phrases: the antecedent phrase, which doesn't come home to our tonic of G, and the consequent phrase, which does indeed come home.